In 1962, the U.S. military drafted a plan so shocking it called for hijacking planes, sinking American ships, and even killing U.S. citizens, all to blame Cuba and justify an invasion. The plan had a name: Operation Northwoods. This wasn't fiction. It was signed by the Joint Chiefs of Staff and put on President Kennedy's desk. What happened next might have saved America from turning on its own people. Let's dive into one of the darkest proposals in U.S. history. In the early 1960s, the Cold War was at its most dangerous point. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a tense standoff, and nuclear war felt like a very real possibility. The Cuban Revolution had recently brought Fidel Castro to power, and his communist government quickly aligned itself with Moscow. For Washington, the idea of a Soviet ally just 90 miles off the coast of Florida was unacceptable. American leaders scrambled for solutions. The CIA tried multiple times to assassinate Castro or destabilize his regime, but every attempt failed. With frustration mounting, the U.S. military began drafting more drastic ideas. That's where Operation Northwoods came in, a proposal so extreme that even in the paranoia of the Cold War, it shocked the President of the United States. In 1962, the Department of Defense and the Joint Chiefs of Staff crafted the plan. It called for the U.S. government to carry out false flag terrorist attacks, meaning attacks staged by America, but blamed on Cuba. The purpose was simple: to whip up public outrage, win support at home, and create a justification for a full-scale invasion of the island. The proposals were chilling in their detail. Among them, hijacking or shooting down civilian airplanes, then claiming Cuba was behind it, sinking U.S. Navy ships in the Caribbean and blaming Castro's forces, bombing American cities or military installations, with casualties included, to generate real anger against Cuba, spreading fake news stories to manipulate public perception. One memo even discussed staging funerals for supposed victims to tug at the emotions of ordinary Americans. The architects of Northwoods understood that public opinion could be swayed more easily if real lives were lost, and they were prepared to sacrifice U.S. citizens to achieve it. But not everyone agreed. When the plan reached President John F. Kennedy, he was outraged. Kennedy rejected the proposals outright, declaring them morally unacceptable. To him, deliberately killing Americans to start a war was unthinkable. His refusal effectively killed Operation Northwoods before it could be put into action. For decades, the plan remained hidden. It wasn't until the 1990s, when government archives were declassified, that the public learned just how close America came to carrying out this false flag operation. The release of these documents stunned historians and citizens alike. Many saw it as proof of how far Cold War paranoia had pushed the U.S. military establishment. Today, Operation Northwoods is remembered as one of the most shocking what-ifs in U.S. history. It's a powerful example of how national security fears can lead to dangerous, even unthinkable proposals. While the plan was never executed, its existence raises serious questions about government transparency, ethics in warfare, and the manipulation of public opinion. Ultimately, Kennedy's refusal to authorize Operation Northwoods may have prevented one of the darkest chapters in American history, a moment when the U.S. government could have turned against its own people in order to justify war.